Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the tropics. It is 7:12 a.m. Monday, November 4, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren. And subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the US National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. And we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 6:47 a.m., which is almost 25 minutes ago, we still have tropical storm Patty right here across the northeastern section of North Atlantic. We still have that area that has a low chance of development to the north of Hispaniola, and we still have potential tropical cyclone number 18. And we're going to be going through these systems from right to left, starting with Patty first. We can, well, before we even get to Patty, we can definitely see all of the entities right here on the wide Atlantic visible satellite images, showing us what's taking place as the sun is starting to come up. We can definitely see the sunlight and the line pushing in from right to left. We see the clouds right here associated with what's left of Patty. Lots of clouds still swirling and spinning right there to the east of the Azores Islands. We can see the clouds right here to the north of Hispaniola, trying to set the stage for what's to come in terms of what's going to be developing within the next 7 days. And we can see potential tropical cyclone number 18 right here to the south of Jamaica, possibly already a tropical storm, and it's on its way, if it's not already a tropical storm, to become one. Definitely going to be bringing a lot of bad weather to Jamaica within the next 24 to 48 hours. So let's focus our attention a bit on tropical storm Patty. We can definitely make out the swirl associated with the system, but we can see that it's definitely void of the deep convection that we usually see with these tropical entities. Most of these high cold cloud tops quickly pushing off towards the east, all courtesy of that upper level wind shear. And we see that as of the Hurricane Center's latest update, they still have it pushing off towards the east-northeast, moving right now at 20 miles per hour, packing maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. So it's down there at the low end tropical storm status. We know that tropical storms pack winds of anywhere from 39 to 73 miles per hour. So it's definitely closer to tropical depression status than to hurricane status. And we see that the Hurricane Center has it possibly weakening back to a tropical depression as we get into 6 a.m. on Tuesday. And then thereafter, it's definitely going to be dissipating because we don't see it heading into Portugal like what we highlighted yesterday. We know that that is definitely Portugal, and right to the east of that is Spain. So either way, even although it's going to be downgrading back to a depression, it's still expected to bring some amount of impacts to those areas. Let us focus our attention on what's taking place to the north of Hispaniola. We see they've stated here an area of low pressure could develop near the northern Leeward Islands in a few days. Some slow development of this system is possible after that time as it moves generally westward over the southwestern Atlantic. And we see that they've given it a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 48 hours and a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. Well, let's focus our attention a bit on a potential tropical cyclone number 18. First of all, let's reload these images so that we have the very latest information. I mean, look at the thunderstorms associated with this system. First of all, we have Jamaica right here, already getting on some of the bad weather, especially across eastern and northern parishes. But look at all of this. This is definitely trying to get its act together to push its way northward like this into Jamaica. We know the top right hand side of these systems is usually the nastiest side of the showers and the thunderstorms, and there's no void of it. Look at all of the reds, the blacks, the grays, the pinks within all of that. That's definitely some bad weather. They're definitely getting ready to come into portion of Jamaica. There's going to be flash flooding. There's no question about that. We're just hoping that people take the necessary precautions so that they're not that drastically affected. We see that the Euro ensemble, spaghetti malls, are in consensus that the system should be pushing northward, then developing into a tropical storm. Could be earlier than this. We see the greens that represent tropical storm status. Most of them on the Euro ensembles have the system passing to the far southwest of the island, but we're still on that nasty northern and the right side of the system, so we're still going to be getting impacts regardless of how far it actually is. The GFS ensembles right here, definitely closer, some of them even making it across Jamaica. This is as of the latest spaghetti model plots. We see the main consensus has it passing to the southwest of Jamaica. Some of them even making it up to hurricane status while it's passing to the west of us. We'll see how that actually goes. We see that the intensity model guidance definitely in consensus, bringing most of these all the way up into tropical storm status as we head throughout the day today for sure. Wouldn't be surprised that as of the 11 a.m., the 10 a.m. advisory that is from the Hurricane Center that comes out in about 3 hours, if it's not upgraded or not. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Tropical storm Rafael is definitely on its way. If it's not upgraded by 10 a.m., maybe earlier than that, if not a bit later than that. So we definitely have to get ourselves ready. Tropical storm force winds definitely possible, anywhere from 40 knots all the way up to 60 knots. That can definitely cause damages, power outages, you name it. So get yourself ready. Might even get some isolated tornadoes. We saw what happened with Florida when they had Milton. Those things are definitely on the table. So we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7 a.m., the system is still moving towards the north at 7 miles per hour. So it's moving very slowly, very slowly. And we see that it's expected to make its closest pass to Jamaica by around, let's say, the early morning on Tuesday. So throughout the day today, it's still getting ready to come in, and we're still going to be getting on those outer bands. And we see that as of right now, it is packing maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour. So it's not yet a tropical depression that pack winds of 38 miles per hour. It's not yet a tropical storm that pack winds of 39 to 73 miles per hour, but it is on its way there. We see that we still have the tropical storm warnings up in the blue for Jamaica. We still have the hurricane watches up in the pinks for the Cayman Islands, as we can see by the key on the bottom. And we know the next names on the list. Rafael, maybe that system to the north of Hispaniola that has a low chance of development, could acquire the name Sarah. We'll see how it unfolds. Either way, as of right now, we're going to be looking at the latest Euro model runs, and then we're going to be looking at the latest GFS model runs, and we're going to be focusing our attention on the Caribbean right here. We're just going to be going out to the next 72 hours, or maybe the next 48 hours. Let's see exactly what unfolds within the next 48 hours. So we see that as we head throughout the day today, the system definitely trying to get its act together. We see one huge isobar. We see the airflow pressure. We see the dark greens, the yellows coming into portion of Jamaica. Definitely some bad weather coming in. Flash flooding definitely possible. As we head into Tuesday, we see what's taking place. The system is passing right there to the west of us according to this latest run of the Euro. Heaviest rainfall, the dark greens, the yellows starting to come into portion of the island, as we can see by the key on the right. That represents anywhere from 3 all the way up to 8 inches of rainfall, if not more. Then we're going to be stopping it right there at the end of the 48 hours. We see the system should be right here across the Cayman Islands, but look at that. Jamaica still getting a lot of moisture. The greens that represents anywhere from 1 all the way up to 4 to 5 inches of rainfall. And that's just the 0-0 run of the Euro. Let us match it to what the 0-0 run of the GFS is showing. That we're going to be looking at the 6-0 run that just came out an hour ago. So as we go out in time, we see what's taking place. Look at that. This is 0-0 on Tuesday, which is actually 7 p.m. on Monday. Look at the system coming in. Definitely a bit stronger on this run of the GFS. Even more isobars. Definitely tightening up with that airflow pressure. Coming into portion of southern Jamaica. The worst weather. The dark greens, the yellows, the oranges, and reds coming into the island. See that it's passing to the southwest of us for the most part, which is good that we don't get the landfall, but we're still getting the bad impacts. Then we see that it's passing right there and pushing on towards the Cayman Islands. And then by the end of the 48 hours, we see it right there to the north of the Cayman Islands. We see the Euro a bit slower, has it across, smack dab in the middle of the Cayman Islands. By the end of the 48 hours, the GFS has it to the north of there by that time. The same time, 00 on Wednesday is actually 7 p.m. on Tuesday. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus that even as the system is near the Cayman Islands, we're still getting in on those outer banks, those greens that represent the heavy moisture, sending everything from the south or the southeast into southern Jamaica. And we see what's steering the system towards that direction. We have the huge ridge of high pressure right here that sends everything in a counterclockwise fashion for sure. So it all makes sense. It wouldn't be going to this direction at all, directly into the high pressure whatsoever. But we're going to be looking at what the 6Z run of the GFS is showing that just came out this morning. You can definitely see the heavy rainfall coming into Jamaica right there. 6Z on Tuesday, it's actually 1 a.m. We see the system right here passing to the southwest of us. Look at the heavy rainfall, the dark greens, the yellows, the oranges, the reds coming into Jamaica. Look at that, 7 a.m. even worse. So those persons who didn't go to school today, then we're not going to be going to school tomorrow either, or work tomorrow either. Definitely going to be even worse tomorrow in terms of the bad weather. And we see that as of the end of the 48 hours, it's definitely right there to the south of Cuba, to the north of the Cayman Islands. Definitely even stronger than what the 00 one was showing. So we're in for it. We're definitely in for it. So we're glad that at least it's starting out as a weak system into Jamaica, according to the supercomputer models. Definitely going to be strengthening as soon as it passes us. We see even more tightening of the isobars. Definitely could be hurricane status by that time. And as such, the Hurricane Center has highlighted that we see the S's that represents tropical storm status. We see the H's that represents hurricane status. Don't be surprised if we see an M somewhere in there later on down the line that represents a major hurricane status. We know major hurricanes are basically anywhere from category 3, packing anywhere from 111 miles per hour winds, all the way up to category 5, packing anywhere from, well, all the way up to 157 miles per hour winds. Alright, so we just looked at the supercomputer models. Let's just look at the waves and the winds. Look at the waves that are expected. We can see from the key on the bottom right, as we head into 8 p.m. tonight, look at the purples all the way up into the burgundy colors, all the way up into the orangish colors. That represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to what, 6 or 7 meter wave heights coming into section of southern and eastern parishes for sure. We're definitely going to be in for that, and that's because the winds are going to be coming in. Look at the strong winds, look at the yellows, look at the gold, look at the burgundy colors all the way up into the slight purples. That represents anywhere from 25 all the way up to 40 knot wind. So we're definitely going to be getting in on those strong winds, those tropical storm force winds. We know tropical storm force winds are anywhere from 34 to 64 knots, and considering that we're going to be getting all the way up to 40 knots or more, definitely in tropical storm territory for sure. So it makes sense that these strong winds are going to be churning up the seas, bringing some huge waves. So if you have friends who are fisher folk, they're out by the sea catching fish, whatever the case may be, ensure that you get them to come in to land, because we know how bad the seas can definitely get. But let's focus our attention on the rainfall. Look at the rainfall totals. They haven't changed at all. Jamaica is still in for a lot of rainfall for sure. This map from the Euro and the other one from the GFS, well, this one from the GFS and the other one from the Euro, are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 6Z on Thursday, which actually now all the way up until 1 a.m. on Thursday. And we do see the dark reds. Look at the key on the right, 2 inches. We see the purples as well, 3 inches. We see the pinks as well, 4 inches. We see the lighter shades of salmon colors, if I'm not mistaken, all the way up into the lighter shades of blues. That represents all the way up to 8 inches of rainfall. We're definitely going to be in for some bad weather in general. And it's not only the GFS that is showing that, but the Euro is showing that. And it's stretching all the way from the northern coast of Colombia all the way up into Jamaica, the western peninsula of Haiti, the Cayman Islands getting in on the mix. And if we get close up into Jamaica, we can definitely see the breakdowns of the parishes that are going to be in for the most rainfall. We're not saying that, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. Mary, and St. James aren't going to be getting rainfall. They're going to be getting a lot of rainfall. But the heaviest or the most accumulated rainfall, according to this run of the Euro, which is showing all the rainfall that's expected from now all the way up until 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, we see the pinks, we see the reds that represent anywhere up to 90 all the way to 150 millimeters of rainfall GF, and that's for southern parishes. Anywhere from Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas. And it's not only southern parishes, but even eastern parishes. And we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, and St. Thomas. And look at the GFS. Look how more robust it is than the Euro. Even getting into the purples in there as well. The purples that represent anywhere from 150 all the way up to 250 millimeters of rainfall coming into the same spots. Section of Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas, and Portland. So we're definitely going to be in for the worst of it across those spots. I hope persons are paying attention. I hope they're taking the necessary precautions so that they're not that drastically affected with what is to come. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this morning, we can see the surface features here. We have this frontal system across the northern portion of North Atlantic. We have a ridge of high pressure right here that we know is responsible for sending all of these entities from east to west across the main development region into the Caribbean. We see a trough right here that's associated with that area that has a low chance of development, that code yellow, to the north of Hispaniola. We see the potential tropical cyclone here to the south of Jamaica. We see a tropical wave right here to the northeast of South America. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic as the sun is coming up, as a matter of fact, let's reload these images so that we have the very latest. We can definitely see all of these entities that were just mentioned. The clouds associated with that frontal system across the northern portion of North Atlantic. The clouds associated with that trough to the north of Hispaniola. The clouds associated with that tropical wave to the northeast of South America. And the clouds associated with potential tropical cyclone number 18 across the Caribbean. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean's weather in this evening's video. Let us focus our attention on what was predicted last night for today. So it was definitely predicted that we would have had some rainfall last night, especially across northern Jamaica. That has been the order for the past 2 weeks. Northern Jamaica for sure, as well as eastern parishes getting on some of the rainfall too. And we know northern parishes, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. And we already mentioned what eastern parishes are. So we're definitely in for some more of this rainfall, even although it has been affecting sections of the north. Anywhere from Hanover eastward, Trelawney, St. James, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas definitely was getting in on some amount of rainfall throughout the night last night. Then the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted on our Twitter page this morning at around 5:40 a.m. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So we see that we're definitely getting on some amount of rainfall, as represented by the greens and the yellows that represent some light to moderate to some heavy rainfall across sections of eastern Jamaica and northern Jamaica, sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, sections of Portland, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. We're definitely getting on some of this morning rainfall. And even as the daylight came, we saw the clouds. Look at the rainfall still trailing into portion of northern Jamaica, anywhere from St. Ann westward, section of Trelawney, St. James, section of Hanover as well getting on the action. Look at all of the thunderstorms, especially to the south of the island, being sheared off and pushing off to the northeast. Definitely some overcast skies across sections of St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrews, section of Portland getting in at the mix. And we're going to be looking at the latest satellite image shortly, but we need to highlight the high code cloud tops as well. Look at this. The blues, the greens, the yellows, the oranges that represent some cumulonimbus thunderstorm clouds, and we see all of that being sheared off towards the north. And we definitely have some confirmation from some of our followers about the rainfall. We have Sylvia Bando stating it's been raining frequently for 3 weeks now in the Brownstown, St. Anne's area. Hope it doesn't hit us directly. We also have a comment here from Mrs. _ Boss Lady stating been raining in St. Thomas. I'm not sending my picnic out. He'll be home today. We have a comment here from Chrissy876 stating raining now in Albion, St. Thomas. And we also have another comment from Brianna _ Savage 98 stating raining in Trelawney. So that indeed confirms the rainfall for northern and eastern Jamaica this morning. It should only be getting even more downhill as the day progresses. And if we take a look at the very latest still visible satellite image, the latest image just came out at 26 minutes past the hour. So that's what, 7:26 a.m. just came out 7 minutes ago, if I'm not mistaken. We can still make out some clouds, bring some isolated showers to sections of Hanover, St. James, sections of coastal areas of Trelawney, sections of St. Anne, inland areas of St. Anne, overcast skies, if not some isolated showers for sections of Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrews, sections of Portland getting in on the mix. And we see a lot of the clouds to the south of the island as well. If we take a look at the latest Cuban Doppler radar images, let's reload these images so that we have the very latest. As of right now, it seems the very latest is as of 7:10 a.m. and we still see a lot of rainfall to the south of the island. We still see a lot of rainfall coming to the northern portion of the island as well, just like how we just saw on the visible satellite images. And even the Guantanamo Bay Cuban military radar still showing some amount of rainfall. We see the greens, we see the blues between Jamaica and Haiti right there. Eastern Cuba getting in on the mix too. The Cayman radar, not as festive right now, but within the next 48 hours, when this system pushes into the area, they're definitely going to be seeing it. We see the few isolated shores to the far south of the Cayman Islands right now though. But let us focus our attention on what's to come. This map from the GFS and this map from the Euro are valid for 10 a.m. today, and we see the rainfall is definitely going to be getting heavier as we head throughout the day for eastern Jamaica, St. Thomas, Portland. Look at the dark blues, look at the greens, definitely a bad situation setting up. Skipping ahead now to about 1 p.m. today. Look at the blues and the greens spilling from east to west across the island, anywhere from eastern Jamaica to central parishes to western parishes as well. And we know central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. Western parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And that's valid for 1 p.m. today. And we see that on both the Euro and the GFS malls. Skipping ahead now to about 5 p.m., we still see a lot of rainfall still plaguing portion of the island, especially southern and eastern Jamaica. Look at the dark blues, look at the greens, heavy rainfall coming in. Look at all of these colors to the far south of the island getting ready to come in as well. The greens, the oranges, the reds, the pinks. Definitely some bad weather in general, some flooding coming northward. And we're going to be stopping right here at 11 p.m. Hopefully this evening I can actually make a video. Hopefully there isn't a power outage or an internet disconnection, because you know these things go with Digicel, Flow, and GPS in general. But look at this, 11 p.m. Looks like the worst of the weather is getting ready to come on shore across the island. Look at the greens, look at the yellows, the oranges, the reds, the purples. That represents all the way up there in terms of the millimeters of rainfall that we see on the key on the bottom. That's what, up to 50 millimeters of rainfall. That's ridiculous, and all of this is expected to push in given the counterclockwise flow. So it's going to be more from the east, and then when the system gets to this side of the island, we're definitely going to be getting more of a southerly or southeasterly moist flow, definitely some more rainfall, even as the system is across the Cayman Islands. And we see that the accumulated precipitation for the next couple of days definitely going to be robust. But look at this. This is showing all the rainfall that's expected from now all the way up to the next 24 hours. Look at all of the rainfall. Look at the burgundies, that represents 2 inches of rainfall. Look at the purples into the pinks and the salmon colors. That represents all the way up to 7 inches of rainfall, close to it. Look at this. St. Thomas in for 6 inches. Section of Portland in for 4 inches. Kingston 4.58, 4.76. And don't take this as gospel. This could definitely be a bit lower, just like what the Euro is showing, maybe 2 inches or 3, like right here. It could definitely be higher in some isolated spots for sure. So don't take this as gospel. It's not set in stone. Things can change with the supercomputer models, as well as what Rafael eventually does. But as of right now, the models have been persistent with the heavy amount of rainfall that's expected across the island. So I hope that you're taking heed. By the way, if you'd like to know what all of these mean, the inches in terms of rainfall that we receive on the rain gauge, 2 millimeters, you can use this nice little graphic right here. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can use that to do the calculations yourself. All right, so that's it for now. Expect another video later this evening. Thanks for watching.